Hey everyone, Ripley with Bob's Watches. Today we're talking all about how to buy a Rolex and going over what you need to know before you make your purchase. Also, if you haven't done so already, don't forget to like and subscribe to our YouTube channel so that you can stay up to date on our latest video content. So, you want to buy a Rolex. Great, now what? As a company, Rolex is over 100 years old, and the brand is known for making some of the very best watches in the world. Rolex are by no means the most expensive or extravagant watches out there, but when it comes to luxury watch brands, none are more famous than the Crown. Now, the reasons why someone may want to buy a Rolex can differ from one person to the next, but regardless of what your reasoning may be, there are some important things you should know and some key steps to follow. When looking at Rolex's catalog, you'll notice that all of the brand's watches fall into two main categories: classic and professional. The classic range is where you'll find the traditionally styled models such as the Oyster Perpetual, Datejust, and Day-Date, and also where you'll find the Cellini collection, which is Rolex's dedicated line of dress watches. On the other hand, the professional series is home to all the brand's legendary sport and tool watches, such as the Submariner, Explorer, GMT Master, and Daytona. In many instances, Rolex's professional watches will have additional features or complications to help them perform their intended tasks. However, these days, many people choose to wear them simply due to their bold and iconic styling. Now, when it comes to choosing which Rolex to get, the first step is to figure out what you like and what you can afford. We always recommend that it's most important to buy what you love, but the simple truth is that there are some Rolex models that you will not find below certain price points. Keeping your budget in mind while browsing will help you narrow your search to watches that you both love and that are also in the realm of possibility. When looking at models, one of the key things to think about is how you plan on wearing your Rolex. If it's going to be something that you only wear on special occasions or with formal attire, you might want to consider one of the many timeless and elegant models from the Classic collection. Alternatively, if you scuba dive and want a watch that can go with you deep underwater, one of Rolex's divers such as the Submariner or Sea Dweller will be an obvious choice. On top of that, the various functions that each different model offers can also play heavily into your decision. For example, if you need a model with precision stopwatch capabilities, then the Daytona is the one for you. If you frequently travel and need a watch that can display multiple time zones, then something like the GMT Master or Sky Dweller is easily the move. It's important to note that not every Rolex model is available in different configurations. For example, if you have your heart set on a no-date Submariner, then you'll need to be okay with your watch being stainless steel and having a black dial and bezel, as that's the only configuration that it's ever been offered in. Therefore, if there's some particular color or metal type that you absolutely need to have on your Rolex, then in those cases, that might just be the easiest place to start. Once you decide on the watch you want, you then need to choose whether to buy your Rolex brand new or pre-owned. One key point here is that you can only buy current production models brand new, so if you have your heart set on a discontinued or vintage reference, then the pre-owned market will be your only option. Additionally, it's also incredibly important to note that many of Rolex's most desirable models are completely sold out at retailers, so you technically cannot buy them brand new, at least not without spending a considerable amount of time on a waiting list. And it's exactly for this reason why so many used Rolex watches actually cost more than brand new ones. No one wants to spend years waiting to get the watch they want, and so many people are willing to pay steep premiums on the open market simply to skip the line and get their dream watch on their wrist today. If you're one of the people who doesn't feel like waiting, then the pre-owned market will be your best bet, and it's important to mention that pre-owned doesn't necessarily mean old and beat up. There are many Rolex watches in completely unworn condition on the pre-owned market because their owners knew that they could make a strong profit by selling them to a pre-owned dealer. Another key detail when it comes to the pre-owned Rolex market is that literally all of the models are on the table. Not only will you have your choice between all the current production ones that you can't get from retailers, but you'll also have the option of all the discontinued and vintage references from the brand's archives. However, this amazing selection does come with one drawback. If you are after one of the current production models that's completely sold out at retail, then you can pretty much guarantee that you'll need to pay a premium to get it. But then again, you can't really get one at retail, so these premiums simply reflect the true prices of these watches on the open market. With that in mind, not all used Rolex watches cost more than brand new ones, and for some models, shopping pre-owned can actually save you a decent amount of money. At the same time, while certain vintage references are some of the most expensive Rolex available, other vintage models are some of the absolute least expensive, and the pre-owned market is easily your best bet when working with a limited budget. Buying a new watch is as simple as going on Rolex's website and looking up your local authorized retailer, but how exactly do you find a reputable pre-owned dealer? Probably the best place to start is by looking at the different companies' information and reviews. Ideally, you want to buy your Rolex from a well-known and established dealer that has been in the business for a number of years and that has many positive reviews. Additionally, you also want to buy from a company that specializes in watches. The average Rolex is made up of more than 100 tiny parts, and it's of the utmost importance that every single one of them is entirely authentic. Since Rolex is the world's most famous luxury watch brand, it has become a popular target for counterfeiters, and it's estimated that there are now more fake Rolexes in the world than the real thing. To make matters worse, modern technologies allowed counterfeiters to make increasingly deceptive fakes, and sometimes it takes both a keen eye and an expert level of knowledge to truly spot one. In addition to being entirely authentic, it's also important to make sure that your watch is in proper mechanical condition. Some local jewelry stores may sell used Rolex watches at fair prices, but if the people who work there are not watch experts themselves, then they may be unintentionally selling you one that has either non-genuine components or needs a significant amount of work. Generally speaking, when it comes to pre-owned Rolex, you get what you pay for, and the cheapest price is never going to be your best option. Beyond that, it's also incredibly important that whatever dealer you choose stands behind their watches. For example, here at Bob's, we stand behind each Rolex with a full 1-year warranty to make sure that it's running properly when it reaches you. On top of that, we also offer a lifetime authenticity guarantee so that you can rest assured that all 100+ components of your watch are 100% genuine. Furthermore, we also offer optional third-party certification reports, so if you still have any doubts, you can get an independent report for your Rolex from Watch CSA, the leading authority in watch certification services. Not all dealers offer these types of safeguards for buyers, but when it comes to buying an expensive item like a Rolex, these are the type of things that you really need to look out for, especially if you're just starting out. Lastly, it's always important to do your research and ask questions. Many Rolex models look similar, and understanding all the nuances and difference between them is no easy task. Read reviews and articles, and don't be afraid to ask other collectors whenever you don't understand something. Most people who like watches are happy to talk about them, and you'll be surprised to learn how willing they are to help you learn more about this fascinating hobby. Remember, buying a Rolex is something to celebrate, but nothing ruins the fun of watch shopping more than feeling overwhelmed, so remember these key steps and you'll be able to find the one that's right for you. Thanks for watching our video on how to buy a Rolex. Don't forget to like and subscribe to our YouTube channel so that you can stay up to date in our latest video content.